Good morning. It's Tuesday, February 10th. Here's what we're working on.
I'm Emily Huang reporting live in Burlington, where police are investigating a shooting that took place in the lot of a Burlington center last night. We'll tell you what we know coming up.
Flights to Cuba are being suspended due to a shortage of fuel.
And Canada's women's hockey team getting set to take on the U.S. after beating Czechia. Good Tuesday morning. Look who's back.
I'm back on the desk. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, good morning. Happy to have you back.
Yep.
Things are heating up at the Olympics. Things are heating up in the weather forecast, I hear.
And about time, too.
Yeah.
You know, yesterday morning at this time, we were minus 25 with a wind chill of minus 32. You missed it.
I
you
did.
missed it somehow.
I was bundled up, warm in bed.
Yeah, I can imagine. The heated blanket on high, just toasty, I know. But yeah, it was a bitterly cold day throughout. We only got to minus 10 yesterday. That was it. But the temperature has gone up throughout the overnight hours. We are now sitting at minus 8. Bit of a wind chill, minus 13. So it's still a cold start to the morning, but we are going to climb to the plus side today. We should hit +1 for later on, and we'll kick away the cloud cover, and we'll get a mix of sun and clouds for the day. The wind should be fairly light, so not a bad day for this time of year, the 10th of February. We'll look forward to that. As I said, right now we're sitting at minus 8, but +1 for the day. All right, we'll talk about the forecast coming up. Traffic check, 403 Waterdown Road. Start with our exclusive camera, as usual, doing fine so far this morning, just a little busier. Coming out of Hamilton, just a few MTO traffic cameras, Red Hill Creek camera showing Toronto bound heading away from us on that shot. Same here, top of the Skyway, nothing doing there. Same with east of 4th, going through Burlington to Oakville. Doing fine so far today. We'll look at weather and traffic as usual in detail coming up right now. The news.
All right, thank you, Brian. Halton police are investigating a shooting in Burlington. Emily Huang joins us live near Burlington Center, where it happened. Emily, good morning.
Good morning, Rick. Now, police continue to hold the scene, as you can see behind me, where it's reported that a shooting took place here last night. And Halton police have not yet confirmed any details about this incident, including who was injured or who the suspects are. This is the lot just behind me is 7-Eleven and Kelsey's Roadhouse. And although it's not yet exactly clear where the shooting happened, after speaking with the employee inside the 7-Eleven, I can confirm it did not take place there. The employee tells me police came into the store requesting surveillance footage shortly after he came into work last night around 11 p.m. We have, of course, reached out to Halton police for more information, and we will bring those details to you as we get them throughout this morning. But for now, I'll send things back to you, Simone.
Thanks, Emily. Ontario's police watchdog says 2 police officers who stopped a man twice for impaired driving a few hours before a deadly collision didn't commit any criminal offense. The Special Investigation Unit says an intoxicated 18-year-old man driving a vehicle with a 16-year-old female passenger in the front seat rear-ended a 26-year-old man's Honda that was stopped at a red light. The SIU says all 3 people died in the crash on March 30th, 2024. The agency says it launched the investigation after it learned 2 Halton police officers had stopped the 18-year-old driver twice hours before the crash. The SIU found no reasonable grounds to believe either of the officers committed a crime in relation to the incident.
A 70-year-old woman is in critical condition after she was hit by a vehicle in East Hamilton. Hamilton police say it happened shortly after 11:30 yesterday morning at the intersection of Barton Street East and Kenilworth Avenue North. The woman was walking southbound through the intersection and was hit by a Chevrolet Volt that was turning westbound onto Barton. The woman was transported to hospital with life-threatening injuries, and the driver of the vehicle stayed at the scene. Hamilton police continue to investigate and appeal for witnesses to come forward.
Gunner Sebastian Halmajon has been laid to rest at Burlington's Woodland Cemetery. Halmajan was killed on January 29th while serving in Latvia. Family and friends were on hand yesterday to pay respects at the cemetery as the family requested. This video was streamed by Dodsworth and Brown Funeral Home. Halmajan was honored with a 21-gun salute, and the Canadian flag was folded and given to his family. The cause of Halmajan's death is still under investigation by the Canadian Armed Forces and local officials in Latvia.
Canadian flights to Cuba are being canceled over a shortage of aviation fuel in the Caribbean country. Air Transat has added its name to the list of Canadian airlines that are suspending their operations in Cuba. Earlier, Air Canada announced that flights to Cuba were being halted and empty planes were being sent down to fly about 3,000 travelers back home. WestJet followed suit after initially saying it intended to continue flights as planned, announcing it had suspended sales for service to Cuba and canceled scheduled trips. The head of Toronto-based insurance brokerage firm Travel Secure says travelers with non-refundable trips to Cuba should consider buying cancellation or interruption insurance while they still can.
A second purported deadline has passed in the disappearance of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie's mother. According to a purported ransom note sent to a TV station, Nancy Guthrie's possible abductors demanded $6 million by 5 p.m. yesterday. The note included a threat to Guthrie's life if demands weren't met. Just hours before that deadline passed, Savannah Guthrie posted another video to social media, this time addressing the public instead of her mother's alleged kidnappers. People seem to have been heeding that call, with billboards going up across the country urging anyone with information about the case to call authorities. The FBI released a new statement last night saying it still has not identified a suspect or person of interest in the case. U.S. President Donald Trump is threatening to block the opening of a new bridge linking Windsor and Detroit. Trump took to social media saying he will immediately start negotiations over the Gordie Howe International Bridge, which is set to open earlier this year after many delays. He's arguing the White House to be compensated for it. The Government of Canada website says it's funding the entire project, which will be publicly opened by both Canada and Michigan. Parents of children with type 1 diabetes are urging Ontario's Education Ministry to create a province-wide standard of care for diabetes in schools. They say right now the supervision and help their children are getting varies widely from classroom to classroom, school to school, and board to board. Technological advances in the management of type 1 diabetes means that most kids wear a pump that administers insulin, so separate needle injections are not needed. Kids can also wear a continuous glucose monitor so they can keep track of their blood sugar levels, as can their parents remotely through an app. A spokesperson for Education Minister Paul Calandra says the ministry is currently reviewing that policy.
Could be a big day today at the Winter Olympics for Canada. The Canadian women's hockey team improved to 2-0 after beating Czechia 5-1 yesterday, but the game was not without some bad news. Captain Marie-Philippe Poulin was forced to leave the game in the first period with an apparent right knee injury and did not return. The timing of the injury isn't great as Canada prepares to take on the United States at 2:10 this afternoon in what's expected to be a preview of the gold medal game on February 19th. Freestyle skier Megan Oldham of Parry Sound won bronze yesterday to double Canada's medal count to 2, entering day 4 of competition in Italy. Norway and Switzerland begin the day atop the medal table with 3 gold, followed by Japan, Germany, and the U.S. Canada is 17th in the medal count so far. There's a ton of action on tap today, including short track speed skating, freestyle, and cross-country skiing, biathlon, and the men's figure skating short program beginning at 12:30 this afternoon, our time. In one of the most viral moments of the Olympics thus far, McMaster University student Maddie Schizis asked for an extension on her sociology paper while competing in Italy, and her professor granted that extension.
I didn't think that it would blow up at all. I just thought that it was kind of funny that I was at the Olympics. I had competed the night before, and I was sending my professor an email to get an extension on an assignment that was worth almost nothing for what it's worth. So I didn't expect it to blow up, and then all of a sudden every news outlet I'd ever heard of had posted about it. So I was kind of shocked, but I think I'm going to sit down and write the paper tomorrow.
We should note the assignment is only worth 3% of her overall grade. The Oakville figure skater finished 6th in yesterday's short program. Forge FC take on Mexican powerhouse Tigres tonight in the second leg of the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Forge and Tigres played with scoreless draw in the opening leg at Hamilton Stadium last week. Now tonight's game is in Monterrey, Mexico, where Tigres play in a stadium nicknamed the Volcano with a capacity of 42,000. CFL free agency officially opens at noon Eastern time today, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats have re-signed a number of their free agents, including quarterback Bo Levi Mitchell, defensive end Julian Hauser, as well as defensive backs Jamal Peters and Stavros Katsantonis. Players who remained unsigned include receiver Shamar Bridges and Canadian linebacker Trevor Hoyt. The CFL, meantime, introducing a new honor starting this year called the Ted Govaya Football Operations Award. It's in remembrance of former Ticats general manager Ted Govaya, who passed away last September following a courageous battle with cancer. The league says the annual award will recognize club football operations personnel for outstanding achievement in scouting, player identification, roster building, and leadership. Neil Shipley drained the first hole-in-one in TGL history. The 25-year-old American was making his indoor golf debut last night for the Bay Golf Club against LA at SoFi Center. He spun a wedge shot past the pin on the 110-yard par 3 fifth hole and watched the ball roll back into the cup, and the place went nuts. Will McFadden had 2 goals and an assist as Guelph doubled up the Niagara Ice Dogs 6-3. All right, Toronto Rock is back. The lacrosse team is playing all their home games at the new TD Coliseum in Hamilton. And here's your chance to win tickets. The next home game is on Friday, February 20th, when they take on the Colorado Mammoth. To enter, head to chch.com/contests.
And away we go into this 10th morning of February, Tuesday. Let's check traffic, and then we'll get to the all-important forecast. Here's the 403 on Waterdown Road. Nothing doing there. Looks pretty good at the moment. Well, that's the one. Oh, that's the one. They just told me the camera that I wanted to use is not good, so my cameras are disappearing right off the get-go here this morning. Is that camera working? Good. Let's go to that camera. QEW with the Red Hill Creek. That's Toronto-bound lanes heading away from us, so that's doing okay. So nothing to see there heading toward the Skyway. Here's east of Brant. We do have a slowdown right now as you're heading toward. Oh, yeah, that's indicative of a problem. As you can see, the OPP cruiser speeding along on the shoulder, trying to get up to a problem. I guess we have a problem a little further along. Nothing east of 4, so it must be back. I'll do a double check on that coming up. Ford plant looks good. I did want to show you that camera because at Etobicoke Creek, the West Mall, we do have a problem. It is off to the side, but the camera decided to go walkabout, so I'll try to show you that a little later on this morning. Yeah. Okay, so let's get to our temperature this morning. At least that's some good news. Temperature is going up here. We're now -7. We were -8, so that's a lot better than yesterday morning. As I said earlier, yesterday morning we were -25 this time of the morning. The winds are light. The humidity is comfortable. The sky is fairly cloudy. We have had a little blast of some snow flurry activity, but that is coming to an end. So we are looking for sun and clouds for the day today. It will be milder today. We'll hit +1 today. There's that little whack of snow that's pushed its way across us. It's pushing off towards the east, as you can see. The mixing precipitation is still to the west and to the south of us. That low is going to cross us with the warmer air starting to push in. It'll be a little bit cooler with the trailing cold front, but not a lot. It's not going to be anywhere near as cold as it has been for a while. So today, what we're looking at is a little bit of snow flurry activity this morning. We have had that, but then we're going to get a mix of sun and clouds. Temperatures anywhere from +1 to 0. Tonight stays on the mild side, so above seasonal, -3, 4, and 5 tonight. We'll get some flurries tonight through the evening and the overnight, just some light flurries. And then tomorrow, again, fairly cloudy with flurries just into the minus column for Niagara Falls, Simcoe, and Cayuga, but +1 to 0 for the rest of the horseshoe. So another fairly mild day for this time of year. So out the door this morning, we are now -7. It is cloudy. The winds are light. Not a bad start to the day so far. We'll look at the forecast and we'll do another checking traffic, the long range forecast coming up. Simone, Rick.
Thanks, Brian. Coming up after the break, we're going to say good morning to Emily Vukovic. She'll have a preview of what's to come in Chit Chat this morning. And in business news, the rental trend continues. We'll take a look at the latest rental rates across Canada. Stay with us. 6:16 on your Tuesday morning. Good morning, Emily. What's happening in Chit Chat this morning?
Hi, good morning, guys. Well, first, I'm very happy about the weather. Thank you, Brian.
Yes.
Thank you, Brian.
Absolutely.
Okay, everybody's favorite little yellow creatures, the Minions. They are back with more scheming in a brand new movie. Oscar-nominated actor Austin Butler is set to play Lance Armstrong in an Armstrong. Wow, that was a slip. And a new biopic. And later on this morning, Canadian music icon Alanis Morissette is heading to the Saddle Dome this year.
Wow, that should be a good show.
Yeah.
Thank you, Emily. In business news this morning, overseas trading, the Canadian dollar relatively unchanged at 73.74 cents U.S. Gold is down $4 an ounce. Oil is up 18 cents to $64.54 U.S. a barrel. In midday European trading, Frankfurt and Paris have modest gains this hour. London is lagging.
On the Asian markets, another strong day for Tokyo's Nikkei, ending the day up by nearly 1,300 points. On Bay and Wall Street yesterday, the TSX led the way with a gain of more than 550 points. The Dow rose by 20 and Nasdaq jumped by more than 200.
TD Coliseum has a new investor, Hamilton's own NBA champion Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. SGA says becoming part of the arena's ownership group is personal for him because it's his way of giving back to the city that raised him. His new partnership with the venue includes naming its atrium after his son Aries. He also plans to give back through his charitable organization, the SGA Foundation. Hamilton Mayor Andrea Horwath believes this will serve as a magnet to attract other investment in the city.
It speaks volumes for, as I said, his commitment to our city, right? His commitment to our city, and it also sends out a signal to others who may be interested in investing.
The terms of Gilgeous-Alexander's investments have not been disclosed.
Asking rents in Canada fell 2% year over year in January to an average of just over $2,000, marking the 16th straight month of annual declines. The latest report shows rental costs hit a 31-month low, but remained 12.9% higher than before the COVID-19 pandemic. The president of Urban Nation says improved affordability reflects increased supply, with the average rent-to-income ratio dropping below 30% for the first time in 6 years. Average apartment rents declined most in Ontario, Quebec, Alberta, and BC.
Clothing retailer Eddie Bauer is facing bankruptcy. The operator of Eddie Bauer stores in Canada and the U.S. announced plans Monday to enter into a restructuring support agreement and move forward with Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Most of the retailer's locations will remain open while the company looks for a buyer. But if that process fails, Eddie Bauer stores in Canada and the U.S. operated by the retailer's LLC could close. Company leaders say the retailer has faced many challenges recently, including declining sales and uncertainty around tariffs. They say the decision was not easy, and they're focused on minimizing the impact on employees, customers, and stakeholders. Eddie Bauer locations outside of North America are not included in the filings and will continue to operate as normal.
The owner of Yorkdale Shopping Centre has won its fight against an unwanted tenant moving into its former Hudson's Bay store. Yorkdale landlord Oxford Properties took its fight against discount department store Les de la Mode to court. Oxford argued that the Fairweather-owned retail brand isn't suitable for its luxury mall. An Ontario judge ruled the plan lacked what she called commercial soundness and agreed to block the discount retailer from taking over the space.
The Wall Street Journal reports the Trump administration's plans to deliver a final blow to long-standing U.S. climate policy this week. The administration is reportedly finalizing rules to revoke the Environmental Protection Agency's ability to regulate climate pollution. EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin says the Trump administration will appeal the endangerment finding. That's a 2009 scientific analysis that found human-caused climate change endangers human health and safety. The endangerment finding has underpinned the EPA's authority to limit planet-warming pollution from the oil and gas industry, power plants, and vehicles since the Obama administration. All right, quick time out. Brian's going to be back with your traffic update and your ever-warming 7-day weather forecast. Stay with us.
Just about 6:24 Tuesday morning. We showed you a camera earlier of a real slowdown around Brand Street and some OPP vehicles. Well, all we have is a vehicle off to the side there, as you can see at Guelph Line, but it's really slow going back up over the bridge there at Brand Street and backing onto the 403. So a little bit slow right there. I wanted to show you this camera, and this is really a bird's eye view of what's going on underneath the camera here. Finally, we have a tow truck pulling piling up on the scene, and that should be gone. It's really not impeding much traffic, but it is fairly close to the right lane there, as you can see. But that's really all we have. Just wanted to check the Garden City Skyway. We are still getting some light snow through here, and you can see it a little bit in the overhead lights there across the highway. But really, that's all we've got so far this morning. So what we have this morning as far as temperatures are concerned are a lot milder temperatures this morning than we had yesterday morning. -7 is our temp right now. Wind chill about -12. So it's still cold, but it's not quite as cold. -6 Grimsby, -5 Mississauga, -4 for Toronto. So we'll talk seasonals. -2 for the daytime high. We didn't get there yesterday, but today, oh, different story. -10 for the overnight low. We'll have some sunshine for the day. And actually, by the first bell this morning, we should climb to -4. And then there's that +1 with sunshine both this morning and for after school. So looks good. So +1 today, -4 overnight tonight. Wind chill about -9. Tomorrow, again, the plus side, we'll get some flurries overnight tonight and on and off throughout the day tomorrow. By Thursday, back to the minus column, but just for a day. That's it, -1 and sunshine. Sun again Friday and 0. Valentine's Day on Saturday, +1, and then we go 1 for Sunday and +3 on Monday. So yeah, a bit milder finally. That's your forecast. Simone, Rick.
I much prefer that forecast over the ones we've been
too.
seeing. Handle with care. That's the message from Olympic gold medalist Breezy Johnson at the Milan Cortina Winter Games. The American says her medal and others awarded during the opening weekend showed signs of damage within hours after several medals fell from the ribbons during celebrations.
Now, Olympic organizers say they're investigating the issue with what they call maximum attention. Johnson is urging athletes to avoid jumping while wearing their medals.
What?
U.S. figure skater Alyssa Liu posted on her social media, joking that her gold medal doesn't need a ribbon after she won the gold as part of the team event. Imagine being told no jumping for joy.
You can't
None of that.
jump. No jumping allowed.
Until they fix this.
You want to celebrate with your medal.
I know.
You worked 4 years or a lifetime in many cases to get
Yeah.
to this point. You want to celebrate.
But imagine your medal just dropping to the floor like,
Yes.
woo! And then I would be devastated.
Well, maximum attention screams to me that they're working hard to
Yes,
solve this.
they need
see.
to.
Stay with us. More to come after the break here on Morning Live. Good morning.